Well, hello, brothers and sisters. This Tuesday morning, we are in the book of Acts, chapter 22, for our devotion. I hope you've already read the chapter. If not, take a moment and do so. At the end of chapter 21, Paul is attacked by a mob in the temple, being beaten to death, rescued by the Roman soldiers. And as the Roman soldiers are carrying him out because he's been so badly beaten, he asks permission at the top of some steps to address the Jewish people, those who had just been beating him into a pulp. And the Romans agree, and so Paul speaks to them, and he speaks to them in the Hebrew tongue. And when he does that, they grow silent, they grow quiet, and they listen to him. And what he does is he shares his testimony, shares his story, and reminds them that he had persecuted the church, that he had been a persecutor of the followers of the way in verse 4, and then tells about encountering Jesus on the road to Damascus, where he was going to arrest and persecute Christians, and seeing a bright light and Jesus speaking to him from the light. And in verse 7 of chapter 22, one of the things that Jesus said to Paul that day was, "Saul, Saul," that's his Hebrew name, "why are you persecuting me?" And then he, or Paul, answered, "Who are you, Lord?" And he said, "I am Jesus, the Nazarene, whom you are persecuting." One of the points that I want to make from that part of Paul's story is Jesus told Paul that when he was persecuting believers, he was also persecuting Jesus. And I want to remind you that when anybody persecutes you, when someone laughs at you because you won't go along with them, you won't do what they do, when they make fun of you and call you a goody two-shoes, when they say you think you're better than us, when they laugh at you because you believe in God, because you believe in heaven, you believe in hell, when they won't invite you to their party because you don't want to get drunk, when they don't understand you, they put you down, whatever it is they do to persecute you because you're a follower of Jesus, living for Jesus, understand that every time somebody does that to you, they are at the same time doing it to Jesus Christ. It's not being done just to you, it's being done to him. I find solace in that. I find strength in that. Because Jesus was willing and able to endure persecution. And if when somebody laughs at me, they're laughing at him, I ought to be willing and able to endure that as well. They're not doing it just to me. They're doing it really to him, even if they don't know it. Another thing in Paul sharing his testimony, I'm intrigued by the fact that here's Paul bleeding and needing to be carried by the Roman soldiers. And yet he asked them in that weakened physical condition to allow him to stop at the top of the stairs, top of the steps, and talk to the Jewish people. And then he turns around, gives his testimony, and witnesses to the very people who had just beaten him within an inch of his life. Wow. Wow. You talk about a commitment to evangelism, to sharing the gospel, to loving lost people, even those who are hostile to the gospel, to doing everything you can to let people know about Jesus Christ. Paul was doing that to the very people who had just beaten them. Rather than taking vengeance on them, he was trying to lead them to Christ. And I guess the lesson for you and me is be a witness for Jesus in everything. Be a witness for Jesus in every circumstance, every event, every experience. Don't hate. Don't become angry and bitter. Don't give up. Just keep consistently being a witness for Jesus Christ. Tell them how God has changed your life and all the ways Jesus has blessed you. Love them enough to do that. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.